I'm Andrew Selby, and this is the Philosophy of Photography. Today I want to go through how I photograph an Orthodox wedding ceremony. I've done quite a few of these. I'm Orthodox myself, and I just want to talk about my process because it can look very different from most Western wedding ceremonies. And I have an album here that I'm about to deliver to an Orthodox couple. So I want to go through their wedding album and show you what I was thinking when I was photographing their wedding. All right, the first things we have here are just kind of the detail shots. This stuff's very important, obviously, outside of the church. Some things that maybe are a little bit different than most other wedding ceremonies is you're gonna have a table up front. It's gonna have everything that is gonna be used during the ceremony. And everything that's being used is very symbolic, very important. So you wanna make sure you've got crowns, you've got the gospel book, the cross, the candles, and then the common cup. This probably depends on the parish and the priest. So you might have to ask them where these details are. But in our church, they have them up here just right in the front, right before the ceremony begins. So I've got details of their crowns, their candles. At this church, they change out the icon to even be the icon of Christ's first miracle, which is the wedding in Cana. So I even make sure I get a photo of just that because that tells part of the story. So one thing that is going to be different than most Western weddings when you go to an Eastern Orthodox church, there's not really going to be a processional. The wedding kind of starts in, it's called the narthex. It's technically outside the church, but it's the first part of the church. And that's where the betrothal happens. So there's not much of a processional. So you do kind of have to work with that, especially since they're usually coming from outside to inside. Lighting can be very difficult. So that's where like auto settings can really be useful. If the bride's coming from outside into inside really quick and you want to make sure you get those two different shots, auto settings are important. Or you can have like two different cameras. Your longer lens is set for outside, and then when she gets inside up close, you can kind of switch to a wider lens. So there's just some options that you can do. But that's probably like the first challenge of an Orthodox wedding is that transition. And then they go into the betrothal. So the betrothal is the exchanging of rings. Sometimes this can be on a separate day entirely. Usually it's done just right before the crowning ceremony. As you see, it's done kind of like outside of the main part of the church. And it depends on the church, but generally out of the Orthodox churches that I've been to, you can get pretty close up to the couple. Here, we've got people standing just right off to the side, so I don't mind coming up, getting a few shots, and then kind of backing off. And you can see in this album how I've designed the spread is I have everyone kind of facing in to the middle. It's a very intentional design choice. So just when you're photographing, just kind of think, oh, I need some people going this way, I need some people coming this way. If they're all kind of facing the same way, it's gonna look a little awkward in the wedding album. This is a shot I really like taking at weddings. I just kind of get behind that kind of stasis. This is like front and center of the church, but no one's looking there right now because nothing's going on. And just kind of dirtying up the frame in the beginning. We always have beautiful flowers and just kind of capturing the beautiful church. A lot of Orthodox churches are very beautiful. They have a lot of icons on the walls. And just going wide and getting a lot of the church, most Orthodox couples really appreciate the beauty of their church. Here, I'm just getting their sponsors. So another difference in the Orthodox wedding is they're gonna have generally two sponsors, a man and a woman. Those are Orthodox Christians. This is a little bit different than a wedding party. They're sponsoring the wedding. Generally, these are people that are very close to the couple. So you want to make sure you capture the sponsors as much as you capture the bridal party. They're pretty much a part of it. All right, here is the betrothal. So the priest is going to bless the rings, and he's going to bless the couple with the rings, putting them up on their head. He's going to bless them. I like to get up really close for this. It's a very intimate moment. I don't like to be too far away, so I like to get up as close as I can. So as you can see here, I'm just like right next to where the priest is. And then what happens after the priest blesses the couple with the rings, he's going to place them on their ring fingers on their right hand. And then one of their sponsors is going to come up, and I don't know what this is called, but they do it 3 times. You want to make sure you get the priest putting the rings like on their head, and then also their sponsor placing them on their fingers. All right, and now we're moving on to kind of the main part of the wedding ceremony. They're going to walk up to the front of the church. This is where they're going to be the majority of the time. Here we have the priest lighting their wedding candles and handing it to them. And they will hold these candles throughout the rest of the service. So it's kind of an important moment. Candles in the Orthodox faith are an integral part of prayer. When you are praying for someone specifically, you're going to light a candle for them. And then just in general, we light candles when we pray. Yeah, and then from here, I'm just kind of making my rounds from the front of the church back around to the other one. I'm not crossing over in front of them now. That just seems a little too distracting, a little bit in poor taste. They're facing the altar. Everyone's kind of facing the altar now. So I just don't want to cross in front there, but I will make like big U's, getting different angles for the photos. And again, I'm going really wide to establish shots. I want to show off the beauty of the church. They always have a really nice chandelier, so I want to make sure I get that. This is just for any wedding. I like photographing family members looking at the couple. So that's kind of what I've done here. We have like her whole family is sitting up in the front. I like to get a picture of the choir and the chanters. A lot of the service is sung, a lot of the prayers are sung, and especially if there's a really good choir, it's nice just to get a photo of them. These are generally people that they know. So just kind of keep that in mind. You want to photograph the guests, but you also want to photograph the choir and the chanters. I have an Orthodox wedding coming up in this next month, and they were very specific about, hey, definitely get a lot of good photos of the chanters because they're good friends. And then we move on. This is kind of the main part of the Orthodox wedding ceremony, is the crowning. The crowns are martyrs' crowns. So Orthodox kind of view marriage as a martyrdom, but you're supposed to die to yourself for your spouse's sake, just like Christ's crown of thorns before he went on the cross. So it symbolizes that, and then it's also their sons and daughters of the king. You definitely want to make sure you get the crowning. I like to go kind of off to the side so I can get the priest's face as well as the couple's face. And you see like this shot here, you just really get both of them as well as the priest. You can kind of see everything that's going on, as opposed to if I were behind them, I maybe would see the priest's face, but not the couple's face. Or if I was more kind of towards the front, I could get their faces. They might be blocked by the priest, but I want to get the priest's face. So kind of off to the side is the best place to go for the crowning. The crowns are connected by a ribbon. So I like to go up after the crowns are placed on them and get kind of a close-up shot of the ribbon connecting the crowns. And then we're moving on to the gospel reading. The gospel reading is going to be reading about Christ's first miracle at the wedding of Cana, much like the icon that's placed at the front of the church. So I always just get a few shots of the priest reading that, and then generally he's going to bless the couple with the gospel book. They'll be able to kiss the gospel book. That's something Orthodox Christians do a lot. And then when you see a priest doing this is him blessing the couple or blessing someone. And then to go along with Christ's first miracle, he turned water into wine. The couple is going to drink from a common cup. So this is symbolizing unity. They are going to share each other's joys and burdens. So that's what the common cup represents. And much like the crowning, I like to be off to the side for this. You see here, I'm kind of off to the other side just to give some variety. And then the couple does their first dance. This is the dance of Isaiah. They're going to process around the table 3 times with the priest. The sponsors are going to follow behind them, and they're probably going to be the ones holding the candles. because the couple's going to be holding on to the stole of the priest. This can kind of be a tricky part depending on where you are. I like just to be off to the side. I try to get a few wide shots and then a few close-up shots. Again, they're going to do it 3 times. So maybe the first time I'm going wide, second time I'm going tight, third time I'm trying to get the sponsors. So it's really helpful that the Orthodox like to do things 3 different times. That gives me a couple different chances to get a good variety. But you see here I have them coming around wide, I've got a couple tight, and then I've got their sponsors behind them. And then generally the priest will give a little homily. Usually isn't super long. Depends on the priest, honestly. But he'll give a homily. They might sing many years. So this is a really great spot. I'm kind of getting up towards the front, and in our church, I'm kind of able to get pretty close up to the front. I can even go on a couple stairs without being too distracting. And I can get guest reactions along with the bride and groom. It's a good spot to do this. But just talk to the priest beforehand. Ask him if there's any restrictions. Ask him where you can go, where you can't go. The priests are generally really nice. So just go ahead and ask him, and he'll probably give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen and exactly where they're going to stand based on the parish, because it might be a little different. And then we have the first kiss. If I just go back to this picture here, if I were to get the traditional down the aisle, middle of the aisle, first kiss shot, there'd be a big icon in the way with all these flowers blocking the first kiss. So at this specific parish, I just can't do that. And I think kind of being more in front, going wide, getting guest reactions for their first kiss, I just think that's a more powerful shot than going tight, just getting the couple doing their first kiss. So depending on how that church is laid out, you're not going to get the traditional down the middle of the aisle for the first kiss. So you can go off to the side. I like to go kind of as far front as I can get to get their first kiss. And I just think it's a nice shot. And then they sing many years and bless the couple, and they kiss the cross. There's a lot of kissing going on at an Orthodox ceremony. That's kind of it. Some people choose to do an exit out of the church, and that's pretty traditional. If you've done like Catholic weddings, it's about the same. Anyway, I'm going to pack this up and deliver this to my client tomorrow. They should be very happy with it. It's like a big album. It's really nice. I like to do these for all my clients because this really does tell the full story of their wedding day. This is what they're going to show off their kids when their kids ask them about their wedding. So I like to make it really nice. This is a nice leather cover. I always include a box. I've got a toddler. You definitely want a box for your album. We want to make sure our clients get their photos off of their phone and into the real world. So I just include a wedding album in all my wedding collections. Every single one of my wedding clients get a wedding album. And I enjoy designing wedding albums. I use software to do that. It helps me out. But this is just a beautiful piece that you can give to your clients that they're going to cherish for the rest of their lives. It's only going to increase in value for them. And in 20 years, they're not going to be looking on their phone at their wedding pictures. If they want to look at their wedding pictures, they're going to pull this from the shelf or go in their closet and pull out their wedding album and flip through it together. It's like a physical thing. It's something happening in the real world. It just makes it a little bit more special. And if they have prints up on their wall, those are great, but it's probably only going to be 1 or 2 or 3 different photos. It's not going to have their entire wedding story. It's going to last. These are thick pages. They don't just bend. Everything lays flat. You can have going over the crease, and it really doesn't matter. It's just an enjoyable experience to see it, feel it, smell it, hear it, and experience it in the real world with the people you love. I'm Andrew Selby. Thanks for watching. I will have another video up for you guys in a couple weeks.